welcome to part 2 of reviewing and ranking every single Naruto movie. If you haven't seen the first part, it will be linked down in the description below or in the iCard above, or you can find it in the playlist along with future videos of this series. Not too much really to say here, we just get right back into it. Actually, there's one thing I want to point out. I gave a numeric ranking to the first 2 movies in the Naruto series back in part 1, and I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm quite literally reviewing every single Naruto movie, and at the end of the series, I'm going to be ranking them. So it feels kind of counterintuitive and a little dumb to give it a numeric score when I'm going to have to end up ranking them anyway. So yeah, not doing that anymore. So if you're wondering why, hey, he's not giving the ranking out of 5 anymore, that's why. Without further ado though, let's get right into it with Naruto Shippuden Movie 1. So this movie, man, first off, every movie so far involves a menace attempting to control or to gain control through force, 3 henchmen for that menace, and Naruto getting a new ally but not getting along with that ally for varying degrees of time before they end up getting on the same page by the end of the movie. And this movie makes the 3rd out of the 4 movies so far where Naruto and his team serves as some sort of bodyguards. It's getting a little frustrating at this point, guys. I was well aware that these movies were going to have a blueprint of some sort, but I did not think that it would be to this degree. In fairness to these movies though, they're being made with the mindset that you're watching them with at least a year or more apart from one another. So if they're banking on the idea that, hey, it's been a while since you've seen a Naruto movie, or even better, there's no way you've seen all of the Naruto movies, right? This becomes a little bit more understandable, but still annoying all the same. And since there's no realistic way for me to recreate the gap between watching these movies, I'm going to complain about it because it becomes a much more glaring issue when you're consuming all of these movies in a 2-week span. Alright, Cliff Note versions of the plot. There's an ancient demon who's super powerful and wants to take over the 5 nations. Naruto and his team must escort this snobby priestess to some temple to seal the demon off before this happens. I will say one thing this movie does to stand out from the 3 prior movies is it ups the stakes. That being said though, I don't think the movie is better because it upped the stakes. Just my opinion, but something that was really strong about the original Naruto movies, Naruto trilogy of movies, all pre-Shippuden, is that they felt like self-contained one-off ninja missions. You know what I'm saying? The ninja mission system falls off the radar in the main series because for the most part Naruto is too busy dealing with major worldly threats. So seeing the mission system being a prominent part of these movies and make these scenarios, it was fresh to me personally, but whatever, it's fine. The movie opens with a tease for the end, kinda. What they tease is basically the death of Naruto, and this is one of the biggest issues with this movie. They want to convince you so bad that Naruto has a chance of dying that it makes the movie feel hollow and cheap. Now, clearly I'm not watching these movies expecting some crazy substantial thing to happen to the main character of the series. It's a problem because the movie wants me to think that so much. It becomes snarky to say all these things retroactively, seeing as how duh, he didn't die, look at all the movies that came after this. But even when this was the most up-to-date Naruto movie, it's not like this came out at the end of the Naruto series, right? We were in the middle of Shippuden, so they may have convinced 2 people watching this movie that Naruto may die, but pretty much everyone watching this knew he wasn't gonna die, so I don't understand why they were banking on us believing that so much. I don't know, that's just a weird plot element. The rest of the movie pretty much plays out like this: them going to get the priest, trying to get her to the temple, and being delayed by the 3 henchmen of this movie. Side note, the henchmen have the ability to change their chakra nature thanks to these weird centipede things they let in their bodies, so that's a little weird and interesting thing to talk about. Weird things that happen in Naruto movies, we'll add it over there. Also, weird thing, when they do this for the very first time and you very first see the centipede things or whatever they are enter their bodies, it makes this very uncomfortable squishy wet sound that I will play now. It's better if you have headphones in. You should turn them all the way up so you can really experience the nice squishy ASMR. So just hear it. Ugh. And that's pretty much this movie. Rock Lee gets some more love in the movie. Neji shows up as team leader in place of Kakashi, so he gets a little shine. Oh yeah, they set up this subplot about how Naruto doesn't have any teamwork skills because on his journey with Jiraiya, he could only work on his individual skills as a ninja. And I thought that could be interesting because pretty much the trope of these movies so far is to separate Naruto from the team and have him hit the main antagonist with some sort of unique Rasengan. So I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do something different. Nope. The movie ends just like that. So I have no idea why they set up that subplot that never got resolved. The strongest part of this movie is probably the arc the priestess goes through, but I wish we expanded on it a little bit more because if you're not paying that close of attention, she can just come across as another rude character that's nice to end thanks to befriending Naruto. But in reality, in concept at least, because she's seen as this super important person, many people have had to lay down their lives to protect her, and this led to her developing internal self-worth issues or an inferiority complex, if you will. She's tired of seeing people around her suffer, and these feelings have manifested themselves into showing external resentment to those around her. And it appears this resentment is the result of being pampered or rude, but it's really her wishing people would stop putting her on the pedestal and stop suffering because of her. So by the end of the movie, seeing her embrace her duties as a priestess and take the lives that were lost protecting her as motivation to achieve her mission and goal and not things to haunt her or hold her back was pretty nice and well rounded. Small thing that doesn't matter, but I still found it kind of weird. There are moments in this movie where the lighting gets really dark, and before anyone gets real literal about it, yes, the moments I'm complaining about the lighting take place at night in the movie, but just because the scene is at night doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to see what's happening at all. I think the reason for this though is the big bad demon guy has this CGI stone army and they only show up at night in these really dark moments, so it was probably done to not make them look as jarring and to kind of hide them into the art style and make them blend in, so whatever, I'll let it go. Lastly, funny weird thing, there's a scene after the credits where the priest says she needs to get a successor priest for her, and she asked Naruto if he want to help with that, basically implying like, hey yo Naruto, you trying to smash my boy? And Naruto like, hell yeah, I'm trying to smash. So that's cool. Still didn't really enjoy too much here outside of the fights, but this is cool, I guess. Next up, we have Naruto Shippuden Movie 2, Bond. This movie feels like what The Legend of the Stone of Gael was trying to be. It's not a copy and paste, more so it has similarities to that movie, but executes on those similarities way better. The story goes something like this. There was once a land called the Land of the Sky, and the Leaf mollywopped them during the Second Great Ninja War, so now the Land of the Sky is out for revenge. Also, Sasuke finally shows up again in the movie, although I gotta be honest, pretty sure his inclusion in this movie was just a marketing ploy, but I'll get back to that. So the Land of the Sky attacks the Leaf Village and surrounding villages in the Land of the Fire. During the attack, Naruto meets an elite doctor and his apprentice. They, along with Sakura and Hinata, I know that's a little bit of a weird team, go help the apprentice and his village. By the way, he's not actually a he, he's a girl. So Kishimoto back at it again with the traps. Nice. Weird thing to point out, there's a scene in this movie where it looks like Naruto's just getting gawked up, and that's cool. Whatever, it's just and these movies, they got some interesting moments. Fast forward some more and the doctor dies, quote unquote, saving his apprentice from a wire trap she didn't see. She is obviously devastated by this and gets really sad, as one does when someone close to them passes. When Naruto sees her again though, she's been overtaken by what this movie calls the Zero Tails. And this, Stone of Gael, is how you handle adding to Naruto's lore. Just introduce or show us whatever you want to add, tell us what it is, and then let that be the end of it. It's like when you lie or when someone lies, you don't usually get caught because of the lie itself. It's the details. When you just start adding in a bunch of details that are also lies, that usually what ends up getting you caught up. So if you're gonna add in things into Naruto's lore, don't focus on adding in all these details and try to make it believable. No, you're literally just harming yourself. Just be like, here's the thing, this always existed in Naruto, and just keep it pushing, fam. Naruto snaps the apprentice out of the trance of the Zero Tails, and the Zero Tails retreats back to the Sky Temple. Then the big twist reveal happens, and surprise, the Doctor is actually alive, and he is the evil man who's controlling the Zero Tails, and he is at the head of this attack. This twist is fine, I suppose, a little out of nowhere, but I am really glad though that they revealed this to Naruto and the apprentice 5 or so minutes after they revealed it to us, because at this point we know he's going to be the big final baddie, so no point of dragging your feet with the reveal to our protagonist, you know what I'm saying? So the apprentice breaks down in a bit of denial, and this is much more emotionally convincing than Temujin when he found out his idol was lying to him. She even goes as far as trying to kill herself because of this discovery, which, whoa, that got dark. The Doctor then uses, quote, dark chakra to do this Master Roshi-esque beefcake transformation and just wails on Naruto for a pretty decent amount of time. Then Sasuke shows up and one-shots the Doctor with a Chidori Senbon when he isn't looking. Now, this is not Sasuke's first appearance in this movie. In fact, the opening scene before the title card is all Sasuke. In the beginning of the movie, Orochimaru called Sasuke into his room and told him to find a doctor who could help him, cause remember, early Shippuden Orochimaru is still down bad from the fight with 3rd Hokage in pre-Shippuden Naruto. So nice check on still paying attention to the continuity in the series. I can appreciate that, even though this is kind of bad. The reason I say it's bad is because nothing changes if you take out this subplot with Sasuke. He doesn't interact with Naruto until the very end of the movie, and honestly, you kind of forget about him, and I feel like the movie forgot about him too, because there's just this random scene in the middle of the movie where you see Naruto and his team traveling towards the village, right? And they just randomly cut away to Sasuke traveling through a jungle, and he just got done killing some snakes, and I'm like, yeah, remember, Sasuke's also looking for the Doctor. Haha, wink wink, nudge nudge, we didn't forget about him. And it just feels really forced, and as if someone was like, hey, we should have Sasuke in the movie, or someone was like, you should put Sasuke in the movie, he's a really popular character, that'll definitely pop the ratings. Moving forward, Sasuke confronts the Doctor and is like, hey yo, Orochimaru needs to see you, and the Doctor is like, nah fam, he probably just wants this, and throws Sasuke a scroll, then runs away to the basement of the temple. Sasuke and Naruto chase him, he fuses with the Zero Tails, and Naruto and Sasuke team up to take him down. They get it done, and happy ending as the temple is destroyed and Naruto falls through the air, and there's this nice scene with him and the apprentice. It's really nice, really wholesome. We also get a nice moment basically showing, hey, Sasuke still really cares about Naruto. Overall thoughts on this movie: despite what trailers and promotions might want you to believe, this isn't a focus on Naruto and Sasuke's bond. So again, I'm just gonna assume that they maybe, you know what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be too negative, but they maybe molded the movie around this idea that it was gonna be this cool Sasuke Naruto dynamic in hopes of, you know, pushing the movie forward and making it do more sales. But you could have just actually done that. You could have even had like a nice moment where Sasuke gets introduced way earlier instead of the final confrontation, and have him and Naruto duke it out a little bit, because, you know, he needs the Doctor to come back with Orochimaru, but you didn't take that route. So I don't really understand why this movie is named Bonds or whatever. The central theme of the movie isn't even, okay, whatever, it's fine. Looking past all that, this movie's not great. It's not terrible either. If I had to guess, when we get to the rankings at the end of the series or at the end of the video, depending on which version you're watching, it's probably gonna fall somewhere in the middle of the pack if I just had to guess. It's a Naruto movie. It's not anything too crazy. I feel as though they did achieve their goal of popping the ratings with introducing Sasuke, because when I hear people talk about Naruto movies and talk about which ones they've seen, this is one that gets brought up pretty often. But whatever, that's fine, I guess. Moving on to our third movie in this video, Naruto Shippuden Movie 3, The Will of Fire. Cliff notes of the plot: a guy who was kicked off the Leaf Village for doing inhumane experiments in the pursuit of power wants to become the ultimate ninja and dominate the world. Just realizing reading that out loud, that is very similar to Orochimaru, but this guy is not Orochimaru. He's a separate character. So to achieve this, he wants to collect 5 of the most powerful Kekkei Genkai in the world, which I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of generic. 4 of them at least, they're kind of generic, but we'll get there. So he's collected 4 of them, and the last one he needs is none other than a Sharingan, of course, the very broken Kekkei Genkai, and the way that he's going to acquire the Sharingan is through Kakashi. He has some sort of mind control jutsu in place on Kakashi, so Kakashi is just a mindless zombie basically traveling towards him. But before Kakashi leaves the village, he tells Tsunade about the entire situation and how he's basically being mind controlled, yada yada yada, and everyone knows about it, and everyone's like, wow, there's gonna be this super powerful ninja, we have to figure out a way to stop him. But one of his Kekkei Genkai abilities allows him to absorb ninjutsu, so he's not an easy guy to take down. So Tsunade basically comes up with a plan that essentially leads to Kakashi being a suicide bomber. So she puts some type of jutsu on Kakashi that when the guy tries to take his Sharingan, Kakashi will like implode or something to that extent. Of course though, Naruto and Sakura are not very pleased about the idea of their sensei just having to roll over and basically give his own life in this situation, and Naruto and Sakura chase after them, which leads to the rest of the Konoha 11 chasing after Naruto and Sakura because Tsunade doesn't want Naruto and Sakura involved because she's of the mindset that Kakashi is willing to give his life for the Hidden Leaf Village, and this is the only way to defeat this guy. Spoilers, it's not the only way to defeat him, but whatever. So the rest of the movie pretty much plays out about Naruto and Sakura inside chasing Kakashi, and Shikamaru and his team, and Neji and his team, again the rest of the Konoha 11 chasing after them. But the main bad guy has henchmen, and those henchmen basically take the trail off Naruto and Sakura so they can pursue the main bad guy. And eventually they end up defeating all the henchmen, and then everyone links up and they're like, you know what? You're right, Naruto. It's not right for us to let Kakashi just sacrifice himself. Let's help him out. And of course, they beat the main bad guy, and then it ends. I enjoyed this movie. It captures a moment of Shippuden, like an era of Shippuden that I haven't really felt in a while. So I enjoyed this movie a lot, actually. Pros, as I said previously, the Konoha 11 are in this movie, and I mean, they're not main characters or anything, but they do stuff. They participate in fights. So if you like, hey, I don't really get to see that much of Shino. Shino does something in this movie, just Kiba does some stuff, you know what I'm saying? I always will appreciate some more Konoha 11 moments, you know what I'm saying? They got swept under the rug because they became cannon fodder, but it's fine, you know what I'm saying? Need more moments out of these characters. I love me some Neji, I love me some Shikamaru. The whole gang is here in this movie. That being the biggest pro, the biggest con about this movie is it falls victim to something else that the previous 2 movies kind of screwed up, even though I think this movie screws it up a whole lot worse, and it's probably going to be an issue in future movies if I had to guess. Really bad issue, problem, whatever you want to call it, with the whole stakes thing. They just cannot get the stakes right in these movies. Alright, as I said, the main bad guy wants to become the ultimate ninja and take over the world. That's fine, right? You don't need to add anything to that. He is a global threat at this point. But for some reason, actually I say for some reason, it's probably just the pad runtime, but for some reason, they decided to add in this goofy subplot. So the guy who was the bad guy, as I said previously, was a part of the Leaf Village and got kicked out, right? So all the other villagers are looking at him and they're like, hey, that's not good. He's going to try to take over the world. And for some reason, they blame the Hidden Leaf for his actions, even though the Leaf have made it very clear that he's no longer a part of the village. And they essentially say, hey, if you don't go get that maniac under control and deal with him, we're going to eradicate the Leaf Village. And this is stupid for a multitude of reasons. One, it completely goes against the entire premise of Rogue Ninja, something we set up super early in the Naruto series. Just if you need a reminder, it's the idea that, hey, sometimes ninja do things of their own evil accord, and it's up to the village on if they want to consider that ninja still to be a part of the village. If they say they want to cut ties with him, then he's considered a rogue ninja, and any actions or crime he commits does not fall back on the village that he was originally from. So say a rogue ninja from the Cloud Village attacked the Kazakage, they would not go to war with the Hidden Cloud Village, because the Hidden Cloud Village was like, ayo, we cut ties with him, so no need to take it up with us, just go get the ninja. Matter of fact, we'll help you get the ninja. It wouldn't start a whole war or a big colliding thing, because that guy does not represent the village. It's a rule that exists in Naruto and has existed pretty much since the beginning of Naruto, and if it's a rule that didn't exist, then just the creation of the Akatsuki alone would completely destroy the world, because everyone would have beef with each other, because they'd be like, hey, that ninja from your village is a part of that terrorist organization, and they'd be like, well, he's a part of your village. It just caused chaos and mayhem. So the idea of a rogue ninja makes complete sense, right? So I don't understand why, if the village has cut ties with this guy and made it very clear that they do not support him, they do not protect him. Matter of fact, he doesn't even live in the Hidden Leaf Village anymore. Why would the other 5 nations or the other 4 nations go after the Hidden Leaf Village? It doesn't make any sense. They're just adding it in to add unnecessary tension. It's dumb. But this plot point gets even more dumb because let's just say that the Leaf Village failed and this guy becomes the ultimate ninja and he takes absolute power over the ninja world, whoop-de-whoop-whoop, collects his Kekkei Genkai, whatever. And then the other villages decide to gang up and just completely destroy the Leaf Village, right? What does that solve? Not only do the Leaf Village not support him, he doesn't even live in the village. He lives nowhere near the village. He lives so far away. So you taking out the Leaf Village wouldn't solve any of your problems, because he would still have rule and power over the ninja world. So you would still have to deal with him even if you got rid of the Leaf Village, 1. And 2, if you did that when it was finally time to go to war with him, you literally just got rid of one of your most potentially powerful allies. So dumb subplot. But outside of that kind of annoying thing, I actually really enjoyed this movie. On the lowest of low key, it's got some great action set pieces, got some nice solid animation. I'm really high on the Konoha 11 having something to do. I don't know why, but that's just a thing I enjoy for some reason. Just and seeing that generation of ninja be active is cool. That's just nice. Not too many weird things in this movie. One kind of weird thing that stands out, weird and also funny thing that stands out, even though if you're about to sit here and let me explain it to you, it's probably not going to be funny. Well, it might even be funny even if I don't explain to you and you already know what's going to happen, or if you just go watch the last scene of the movie yourself, because I'm a goof and I find things funny that some people don't find funny. But whatever, there's a sus joke at the end of the movie. So they just save the day, right? Everyone's like, yeah, we took down the bad guy, woohoo. And Kakashi is like staring at Naruto, and he's just thinking about like, man, Naruto's come so far, like he may even be a better shinobi than me at this point, and he reminds me so much of my childhood friend Obito. It is crazy how much you progress as a ninja, Naruto. But he's saying all this in his head, right? He's just staring at Naruto, and Naruto is like, what you staring at, big guy? You've been staring at me for a minute. And everyone else around them is like, yeah, Kakashi, you've been staring at Naruto for a minute. You're a little sus, my boy. I ain't gonna lie to you, fam. And then Rock Lee goes, yeah, my guy said there was something a little different about you, Kakashi, you know what I'm saying, compared to everyone else. I didn't really know what he meant. I didn't think he meant that, but whatever floats your boat. And Kakashi like, nah, bro, y'all tweaking right now, fam. It's not even like, bro, Naruto, it's not even like that, bro. And Naruto like, nah, B, I'm out of here, bro. You too sus for me, fam. And I know hearing me explain this, it genuinely sounds as if this is some abridged scene that I'm purely making up, but I'm not. Obviously, they don't use the same dialogue, but I promise you, this is in this movie. There's a sus joke, and everyone is just like, Kakashi, I mean, dang, bro, you really falling for Naruto? Dang, bro, you a little sussy baka, bro. Like, what's up with you right now? And then the movie cuts out as Kakashi tries to explain to Naruto it's not like that. So that was a funny thing, I guess. So the first handful of Shippuden movies, they're not terrible, but they leave a little something to be desired to me personally. They're cool things sprinkled throughout them, and I'd say for the most part I enjoyed them, but that's coming from the perspective of someone who really likes Naruto. They're not that great though. I don't know, I'm just real in between on them because I want to try to remove my bias for how much I just love the Naruto property, but at the same time that's obviously just hard to do, right? I say these three movies are all mediocre to good. They're not great, they're not amazing movies or anything, they don't reinvent the wheel, but they're about mediocre to good. Nice little C plus B minus E range. So yeah, that's ranking and reviewing every Naruto movie part 2. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, you should subscribe because I make videos of this quality or better all the time, and you don't want to miss out on the next part. Obviously, it's gonna be amazing. If you saw part 1 within the first 20 or so hours before it got manually claimed and blocked worldwide, I don't even want to get into that, then congrats. If you didn't and you want to go back to part 1, kind of my thoughts on the last movie from part 1, the third movie, are just completely cut out. And that's tough because I'm not going to re-upload that video. I don't really want to tank it. I already re-uploaded it twice, believe it or not, and I'm not going to keep doing that. I'll fix it when I make the supercut edition though, and I make all the parts into one big video. So yeah, that's cool, I guess. If you really can't wait for the supercut part where I fix it, and you really want to hear my thoughts on what movie did get cut out because of the copyright, I think it was the Guardian Moon Kingdom movie. I think it was that one. Yeah, that's the one I talked about third. I upload audio versions of my videos on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere else you can hear podcasty type things. So if you're really just dying to hear it and you don't want to sit through the video version where it's basically cut out, then you can do that. I'll have a link to my Spotify audio page and the description thing or whatever. So yeah, I'm leaving.